We should be live now. The pleasure of live streaming.
Yeah, I see us on
Yes.
Paizo.
All right. Finally.
Yeah, we're good on both.
Sweet. All right, Ollie. Pleasure of technical issues right before streaming. How you doing?
I am good. No snow yet, so that's good.
That's
At
always
least for
good.
me.
Well, I like snow, but you're right. I would take it today.
Yeah, it did snow a bit last night, but no, I'm good. The project is going well. We have exciting stuff for everyone,
Yep.
and yeah,
I think this we can officially say it's a big step toward multiplayer. It's not yet, but
it's a big step toward multiplayer.
yeah.
It's a big step toward how could I say? We all know that we went a different direction from the usual format of Survivor games,
Mhm.
And now it's finally, I think, starting to pay off. And I mean, I'm really hopeful people will enjoy the rework to the companions.
Yeah. So
They're
let's jump right into it, right?
okay. Okay,
So I'll start
they're quite more impactful. And then with multiplayer, it's going to be even more impactful because usually human input will be better than AI input.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe you can walk us through because I'm playing the beta. This patch, this update should be launched today or tomorrow, at least this week.
We are hopeful for today.
Yeah, that's it.
We're just ironing out the kinks, and then hopefully we can release today. Otherwise, it will be tomorrow.
I love already that we have our skill tree. Like we have 4 attacks, 6 passive for both the user and the companion. This is massive.
Absolutely. When you start the game, you get your prompt for your first attack with your main character, and then right away you get your prompt for your first attack with your companion.
Oh, is that something new? There's a separate leveling system for the companion and your character?
Yes, there's a separate leveling system, and now you get to pick the first attack of your companion instead of always being the same.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice.
So companion or full-fledged character, the difference is the XP at the top of the screen only levels up your main character, and to level up your companion, you have to find companion nodes, which you get an icon which looks like the icon for the class with a hat almost. And you just go there, you unlock them, and it gives them a level up, an actual level up, so you get to pick a new skill or upgrade an existing skill. And then when you open chests, it actually upgrades both characters.
That is so nice.
And they both receive
I'm like
gold.
Overwhelmed now. I just think
I mean, it's a big change. It's going to take some getting used to. We did change the pacing of the level up a little bit as well. So because we interrupt a bit more with the companion level ups, we changed it so you don't level up quite as often with the main character.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a little bit less chests because chests are super impactful now.
Yeah, makes sense.
And honestly, overall, the power level is, the same up to higher, depending how much energy you put in your companion. Because you could say, "Oh, I don't care about my companion, and I just want, to focus on my main character." You could say that if you wanted to. However, that would be a bit of a waste, because if you pick something like Fleet, if you pick it on either characters, you're gonna get it anyways. So if you want to be just offensive and just get really good things to make you more powerful on your main character, you can just pick Fleet and Potion Finder and Essence Extraction and all the utility ones on your companion, and it's basically just additional passive slots for your main character.
That is so fun. I'm like now excited of even more things to get. It's my first time trying it, and I will say, having a lot of in-game objective to level both
Mm-hmm.
my character and companion feels really good. Really, really good.
Good. You hardly ever have anything to do, like nothing to do now. Um, so yeah, so you have more to do. The mini bosses were very slightly buffed, and mainly it's been their speed that has been adjusted and their attack range that has been adjusted. So their attack range is a bit more realistic now. So you have to be more careful to avoid them, and they do have speed scaling per difficulty. So they become slightly faster with each additional difficulty,
Okay.
in addition to having more health and more damage. We've also increased the health across the board in all difficulty to make up for the fact that now your companion has, up to 4 attacks.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've been able to max out all my attacks and all the attacks of the companion. It is possible.
Does my aim works with the companion,
No.
or is it's solely for my character, right?
It's solely for your character. The companion always uses the automatic aiming.
Yep.
That will change once multiplayer is in. Once multiplayer is in, if somebody is controlling the companion, then they will be able to aim with it.
Okay.
So that should be coming. Should be coming before Christmas as our Christmas gift.
I've seen worse Christmas gift.
Yep. And we're currently testing that. For people unaware, the companion rework has been in beta testing with the community for the past week, and we've received feedback and adjusted a few things. But so far, the feedback has been super positive. People really like it.
I will say, there's a lot going on in the screen, but I don't know. I feel powerful, and having like two of my I love the rogue and I love the wizard, and having both on the battlefield going all out is like feels good.
Yeah. And I know people have the fantasy of going double fireball, and yes, it is possible.
Well, I'm using fireball, but I didn't roll it on the with the companion.
Yeah, and yes, the rogue companion with fireball and penetrating shots and enchanted shots, yes, deals still a disgusting amount of damage.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it takes a bit longer to level them up because of the way you level up companions, but you can get them pretty hitting pretty hard. It also solved the problem of the fighter. That yes, the fighter is super tanky, but the damage lags behind a little bit compared to the two others. So now you just have to say, okay, so I'm just gonna get defensive buff on my fighter. I'm just gonna tank everything, and then I have a wizard or a rogue behind me that just goes pew pew. So yes, you can do that as well.
We got a question from aka Kyra. Will there ever be any crazy weapon combos coming? Like taking two weapons that upgrade into another weapon. Ooh.
People have been asking that a lot. I have put some thoughts into it. Started fiddling with designs and something and stuff like that. However, it is not currently planned. So it is something that could come. It is something that is likely to come if the game picks up and we want to do post-launch content.
Yeah.
But it's unlikely to be there before launch.
Okay.
I'm not saying no, I'm saying unlikely.
Yeah. Makes sense. Like, it would be the plan if the game, not if, like, when the game is, like, ongoing after its launch. Whenever, like,
Yeah. Same thing with just saying, new attacks and new levels. And people have been asking for just new content in general. We hear you. We want to do it. However, we have to pick and choose our battles. So we are currently working on the multiplayer and planning for a few of the things that I can't talk about just yet. So we're quite busy. We're doing a lot of balancing and bug fixing as well. Speaking of, yes, the companion is the main event of the show. However, we did a pretty significant I'd say revamp as well of the collections. Now collections, instead of maxing at 25 of each cards, they max at 15 of each cards while keeping the same power. So each individual card are more powerful than before.
Got it. And is like your amount that you accumulated in early access, is it like still applied? Like if I don't know, if I have 5 card, I'm still at my 5 stack, but
yes,
more powerful. Nice.
Yeah, and if someone was at, I don't know, an average of 18 cards, and now they're at 15 out of 15.
Okay.
And they're just maxed.
Okay.
Yeah, the price has not changed, because as previously, the first 9 cards have increasing prices, and then starting the 10th one and up, it's always the same price, so that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So your overall collection is also cheaper to upgrade because 10 less cards, and you get to see the power increase much faster. Yes, and just to address it, yes, some of the numbers are still small, but they're small because they have to be.
If not, it's a power creep, and it's way.
It's not that. Well, I mean, power creep is a thing, but it's more that certain numbers, if they would be big, would completely break the game.
Got it.
An example of this, if a card gives 0.1 armor, right? What that actually says, 0.1, well, it's not even 0.1, it's 0.01. No, it's 0.1. We have 2 different systems that connect the same place. But let's say it gives 0.1 armor, right?
Yeah.
If you have 10 cards, that's 1 armor, right? And then there's something like 8 cards, I think, in the armor collection. Possibly more than that. I would have to look. The matter of the fact is, armor caps at 75, and we don't want to just give a free armor cap.
Got it.
So don't take me wrong. The armor collection still gives a huge amount of armor, and if you're maxed out with the armor collection, honestly, you don't need any armor passives, and you're good to go. But that's the reason why the numbers are not bigger. Potion duration is the same thing. We can't say, we're just going to give you an extra second of potion duration per card, because then you just have permanent potion buffs.
Yeah.
Which, again, kind of breaks the game, because the game is not bad. Again, we could do additional changes, but it's about being fair to everybody, not just being fair to people that are lucky and or have been playing the game for a long time.
Makes sense.
The patch notes will be able to be found as usual. So
yeah, I'll be adding them on Steam as soon as we're ready to release them.
Good.
Yeah, like you said, there's so much that changes, and like, how did the enemy react? Like, how did you tweak everything to just make it make sense in the game?
Well, again, the health of enemies have been increased by 50% on every difficulties, to make up for the fact that you deal a lot more damage.
Mm-hmm.
I would say overall, the game is about the same, possibly slightly easier. Actually, let me change that a bit. Before changing the card collection as well, the game was slightly harder, because people didn't have enough cards to make up for the balance changes, according to my prediction. Just let's call it that. But with the card changes, it should be easier overall.
Okay.
We are also very seriously looking, and I did mention it before, and it's still the case, introducing a 6th difficulty. That might very well come this year. So possibly with multiplayer, possibly before multiplayer. That remains to be seen.
Okay.
But we should have a new difficulty this year. Worst case, it's going to be pushed back early next year, but we're going to try to fit it this year. So please look forward to that. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. You're in hyper mode, so
yeah, that's why I'm going so quick. And
maybe show outside of hyper mode after, because we have a new UI for the chest to take the both characters into account, just to show that both of them get stuff. It uses the same die roll, so it is the same thing. And then we show.
I just got a time slow from my wizard. does it trigger when I'm close to dying with my character?
It triggers if your wizard, your companion, is close to dying or dies.
Oh, okay,
Basically.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
So you cannot manually activate the ultimate of your companion. However, contingency and cheat death will activate by themselves on your companions.
Makes sense.
Which will trigger their respective ultimates.
It feels really good. I would say it feels good. I love seeing it. And Ikea Kyra saying that I love it on my Steam Deck. Yes, us too. Yeah, it's one of the. It's a great handheld experience too. Like, yes, it's on PC. I'm playing controller, but it feels good on a handheld Steam Deck.
It's a great game for the Steam Deck.
All right, so you tell me, no hyper mode.
Just to show the chests. Yeah.
Tell me more about this game. Ollie, could you do a little bit of walkthrough for people that don't know about Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivor?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. So, Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors is the tale of unsung heroes that were selected by Last Wall to keep Tarbathon, the Whispering Tyrant, in check while the cleric and wizards of Last Wall were, mending the wards, the seals, keeping Gallowspire sealed, right? Because as most Pathfinder players know, the Whispering Tyrant was sealed for several thousand years, and we are basically adding a narrative that tells. So this is why he was imprisoned for so long. So because we know again his forces, the followers of the Whispering Way, and Tarbathon himself kept trying to destroy the seals and to get out and stuff like that. And he almost succeeded before when he officially succeeded. That's why our heroes were sent in to basically keep him busy, tend the enemies, make him work while the seals were being remade, which led to him being in prison for another, I don't remember our actual timeline, but another, 1,000 years or something. And when you're inside, you start on the top floor. Of course, we had to adapt it for the genre of game that we have. And we made the decision to not bother too much with the ascension of Gallowspire because that was hard to represent in gameplay like this.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, you start on the first level, like right on the other side of the door, basically. So you teleport in on the other side of the seal, and you make your way through the crypt. And then we have the library, then we have the caves, then we have the lower crypts, and we have some of the bosses. Some of them people will know already. The Crying Kings are mentioned in the Gallowspire Adventure Path of First Edition, the first one. Same with Istravek, mentioned as well. And, of course, Tarbathon himself. The Grave General is an invention of our own because it is mentioned in the adventure path that he has several generals and concubines entombed with him in there, but they're not named. There's no stat block, and it clearly states that the GM should, just give proper challenges. And the Grave General was our answer to that. So it is something a bit of our creation, but I think it fits inside Gallowspire very well. It is basically...
Well, it wouldn't be a Pathfinder game without a little bit of homebrew, right?
Exactly, a little bit of homebrew. It is a giant that was turned into a Grave Knight, basically.
Nice.
Is what it is. And he is one of the mini general of the Whispering Tyrant.
And maybe like another like gameplay wise, I could go on a bit. Like we got 3 classes. We got the rogue, fighter, and wizard. They all have their own attacks, their own set of passive skills. I'm playing. Maybe you should do the
right. So we have the fighter, which is our frontliner. He's he or she, because you can choose which gender you want to use. So let's just say they are built more as a frontliner, more as a tank. Although they do have DPS tools as well, so they can do a bit of both. But they have stuff like the shield block mechanic, and they're the tanky frontliner. Then we have the rogue, Our rogue is more of the cunning / eldritch trickster. That was rough. Casting some spells and doing some criticals and sneak attacks and stuff like that. So again, we had to stay within the confine of what we can do with the game. But I think the rogue is decently representative of the rogue. At least I think so. And their ultimate basically was our way to include the conceal mechanic, which also, when you're inside the smoke, you can trigger your sneak attack. So again, that was to try to go with Pathfinder a little bit more. And then the wizard, even though Skull Wizard don't really exist in Pathfinder 2nd Edition anymore, the wizard is basically an evoker, using mainly evocation skills, just because pew pew, right? We wanted to have explosions and really good offensive spells.
Yeah, because the genre is still like a bullet heaven game,
yes.
survivor game. It's like it wouldn't be like a one-for-one translation of the tabletop RPG experience, but
exactly,
it has strong roots into like the 2E and Pathfinder game.
All the skills are fired automatically, so less decision to that. We've added aiming with a lot of attacks, so at least now you can aim in specific direction. So if you want your fourth barrage, which used to be magic missile for people that don't know, if you want your fourth barrage to all go in the face of an enemy, you can aim in that direction. So again, it's closer to something like Vampire Survivor for the gameplay itself. We're just using terms and reimagined mechanics and the world of Pathfinder. And I know I've seen the reviews and everything. I know some people say that, it's nothing like Pathfinder. Well, I mean, all our attacks, all our passives and talents are inspired by things existing in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Most of them even use the name, which was more restrictive than you'd think. Not for the name, but I mean for the mechanics and for the inspiration. So we tried really hard to respect Pathfinder as much as we could. And I personally think that it shows. I personally think that it feels, other than the pacing of combat and the type of combat that we have, I personally feel that it feels like Pathfinder.
Oh, no, you're right. I think so too.
Plans for other classes. Yes. Again, can't quite talk about that yet. But we do have some plans. We've been discussing that for the past 2 months. So people have been saying, we would like this, we would like that. I can tell you that the top contender right now is the cleric. Because first of all, it would make a classic party, fighter, rogue, wizard, and cleric. Also, I mean, Gallowspire is mainly undeads with a few outsiders and then a few humanoids. So cleric makes a lot of sense. Champion would also make sense, but that, in the sense of our game, would be more of a hybrid class, while cleric could be its own thing. And love divine class. Yes. So as Karsdan said, yes, cleric and champion would be great. Oracle is a bit harder because it's a support class, so it's harder to do pew pews with. But cleric goes super well to do pew pews because there's some amazing cleric spells. And
but I wouldn't hate like having a more companion focused player.
Sure. Again, there's other things we're looking at for that, right? We're looking. Well, it's not exactly a companion, but we're looking at archetypes as well to offer, different kind of specialization during your run, which means you could become more of a supporty or more of a offensive or something like that. Whether the companions will have archetypes as well remains to be seen. With the multiplayer, it's likely to happen, but it's a bit more tricky to do. So again, I'm not saying yes on that part.
I'm not trying to comment on anything.
As what Paizo said. I don't know who's on official Paizo. I don't know if it's Aaron or Mark or I don't know who. But yeah, we do meet pretty much every week. We talk. We check with them. We make sure they're fine with what we want to do, and they're very nice. Like, it's fun to work with them. And yes, we do geek out sometimes about about tabletop, about Pathfinder and stuff like that. And we make sure that all the terms that we use are the most up to date terms of second edition revised.
We got other questions. That's a
Oh, hey,
good
Mark.
time to find a card. Excellent. Never suspect additional detail. More companions and options always feels great. Just knowing that the idea is at least floating around. It is. And
It is. Gunslinger would be cool. I actually thought about it. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, there's a lot of classes that would be cool. I feel like.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, yeah, Gunslinger would definitely be cool. There's a lot of cool guns. And in one of my Pathfinder game, I had someone play. I forgot the name of the ancestry. A leafy, a plant. He was playing a plant, so he was a potted plant with a sniper rifle, basically.
Just a cactus with a...
Yeah, it was kind of hilarious, and it was his choice to be in a pot. So the party had to carry the potted plant. Otherwise, I gave him a hopping speed of 5.
Wow.
So yeah, it was hilarious. So yes, Gunslinger could be Leshy. That's right. So Gunslinger could be cool. And no, Leshy not gonna happen in our game because that model, the physical model, would not work.
Could you imagine a slow potted plant just jumping around?
A Leshy turret. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. I could see that as an enemy more than a player character, to be honest.
Will I make it?
So the reason why we only have like fully grown humanoid, if I can call it that, like we only have humans and elves and half elves, is basically because of the character model itself. And we are a bit limited by that. I'm not saying it's impossible to have other ancestries, like, for example, dwarves, eventually. The problem is it's costly on the art side. So we would have to make it really worth it to push in that direction. An orc is a bit more likely if we simply take our current character models and make them green. But that would feel not very orcish, because orcs tend to be a bit taller and bulkier. Yeah. So again, it's an art limitation for now. But again, we're still in early access. Who knows what will happen in the future?
That's a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, having tried the new companion mechanic, it feels a lot more rewarding. There's a lot of stuff to do. Like, you feel always compelled to upgrade both characters. This is a really, really good update. I would say.
I agree. And pro tip, if you want to be to do the optimal thing, just try to get to fill all the slots for your companion, and then just go for chests, and you're gonna upgrade both.
Yeah.
So that's the optimal way to do it.
Yeah, I wasn't optimal at all. At some point, my wizard had like only 2 or 3 attacks.
Because the good thing about only taking a few is you're gonna max them much faster, right? Because you're gonna be opening chests, and it's only gonna be those options. So if, for example, you just want to use your companion to deal damage, you could say, I don't know, an example again. I have a rogue companion, so all I want is enchanted shots, and let's say, I don't know, improve critical. And then you get your fireball and your lightning bolt and your bow and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm just going to max those 4 or 5 things. That is something you can do. And after that, you can be like, oh, okay, I'll go get, I don't know, toughness for extra health, for example, or something. So you have to pick and choose. But you can do the same thing with the main character, right?
Yeah.
If, as your main character, you're like, I want to focus on my 4 attacks and 2 passives until they're maxed, and then I will get something else, you can do that. Just select those, try to not pick new things, then open chest, and automatically it's just going to be those 5 or 6 things that are going to be upgraded with the chest. And you're going to arrive probably at floor 3, they're all going to be maxed or close to be maxed, and then you can start to get more passives.
That's nice. Ollie, I would say everyone that wants to go and see our game in early access, just go on Steam. We're not in the autumn sale anymore, but for those that miss it, but it's not expensive. You have tons of stuff to do. The game keeps on growing. That game grew so much since we launched. The team is super active, super responsive. You want to join us on our Discord? A lot of people from the team are there, always replying. We're taking feedback. Like the community works a lot like what you see on Pathfinder. Whenever there's a new system coming, there's a lot of playtests with the community. The feedback is super important, and it shows in our game. Like the game grew with our community, and it's super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to wait for the next sale, the winter sale is coming. Ish.
Wish list.
Well, yeah, wish list and wait for the winter sale.
That's it. Hey, Ollie, it was a pleasure. Thank you, everyone in chat. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Honestly, there's a ton of ideas popping on chat. It was awesome. Honestly, I really love it. I can't say much more than this, but having played like 2 characters is a ton of fun.
Yeah, we forgot something important actually, or I forgot something important at the beginning of the stream. So just to repeat again, all the content of this, once it drops, yes, there's the companion rework that is amazing. Now companions are full-fledged characters that you can level up and unlock, more upgrades with the chest and stuff like that. We also have the mini boss that have been buffed slightly. We have the cards that have gone down from 25 cards per set to 15 with the equivalent power. There might be a few percent up and down depending on which, but overall the power remains the same, but you can unlock them faster. And then, as Sacred just said, yes, again, like I said before, I said half of it, I guess. We are leveling faster. No, we are leveling slower. Sorry. We are leveling slower, so we get interrupted less often. There's also less chests. So chests don't drop as often. There's not as many in the level. Mm-hmm. However, we increased the worth of each rarities. So the value of each rarities have gone up. Again, those values will be shared with the patch notes, but everything has gone up from common to legendary.
Yeah, and it's going to be tweaked anyways, right? Like anything like with balancing.
Of course, we always balance, but for now, it feels good, like you said.
Yeah. Right? Honestly, it's really, really, really good. Yeah, that's it, and good job.
Thank you. Good job to the team.
I feel like that's a huge step toward, like we said, multiplayer. Hopefully, we got it before the end of the year. It would be a great Christmas present to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we're working hard on that. It should happen.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knocking on wood. I'm not making any actual promises, but it should happen.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks everyone.